For almost 30 years, Voller Law Firm has been winning serious injury and death cases for clients. They have collected millions of dollars on behalf of their clients and belong to the prestigious $1 Million Advocates Forum. When insurance or a wrongdoer won't pay for what they took from you, go with an award-winning firm with a track record of results. At Voller Law Firm, results matter. Make sure you go with lawyers that have the experience, ability, and financial power to hold those that hurt you accountable. Put your trust in Voller Law Firm. Give them a call at 662-323-0083.
You're listening to Thunder and Lightning on SuperTalk Mississippi, covering Mississippi State sports like nobody else. With Sports Talk Mississippi's Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk of On3 Sports. Now get ready for Thunder and Lightning.
This is Thunder and Lightning here on Super Talk Mississippi. Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk here with you on a Friday morning. Thanks for starting your weekend with us here at supertalk.fm or wherever it is that you get podcasts from. We appreciate you guys out there, our great listeners, especially our servicemen and women out there taking care of us. I want to thank our sponsors over at Strange Brew Coffee House and Churn and Spoon Ice Cream. Start your day the right way with a trip to the drive-thru over at Strange Brew Coffee House here in Starkville or at Brupolo over in Tupelo. Be a little weird, Robbie, if Brupolo was in Porterville.
That would be a little weird.
Wherever you are in our great state, you can enjoy Strange Brew Coffee each and every morning. It's just a click away at strangebrewcoffeehouse.com. The Mississippi Beef Council wants to remind you that beef, it's what's for Christmas. We're just a couple of weeks away from the Super Bowl. Make beef the MVP of your Super Bowl party. A lot of great recipes for parties come from beef. And, of course, if you want to go all out and put a big brisket on the smoker and have that at the end of the day, ain't nobody going to be mad at you about it. I promise you that. No matter what you're cooking, beef is always going to be the star of the show. Beef, it's what's for dinner, thanks to our friends at the Mississippi Beef Council. College Corner, collegecornerstore.com is the place to find the maroon and white merchandise that you are looking for. Whatever it is, Mississippi State, they've got it at College Corner. And, of course, as we're getting closer and closer to the start of baseball season, if you need to get some new gear with the M over S, they got plenty of it at College Corner. 2 locations in the Jackson area, originally by Fleet Feet, followed by the Half Shell, or you can shop online, collegecornerstore.com. Priority One Bank, 16 locations here to serve you throughout central Mississippi. Let PriorityOneBank.com be your guide and show you not only how they're going to help you invest and manage your money, but how they're going to help you prepare for the future. Now more than ever, when you have questions about your money, you need answers. You need to talk to a banker that knows you. Doesn't know you by account number. They know you by name. You need a banker that provides the level of service you're only going to get at Priority One Bank. Let Priority One Bank make you their priority. Is that one of the state script camos?
Yes.
Oh, man. So did you get the
made by my guy Jason Stoker?
Did you get that thing from Maroon and Company that we talked about?
I did.
Okay.
I need to. I'll just thank Wyatt publicly.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Wyatt. That you were incredibly generous.
Yes, he was. But
we love you. We love Maroon and Company.
I was going to go next weekend. I was going to go last weekend and go shopping with Emily, but she was not feeling well, so we're going to try to go this weekend. But now we may not be able to do that either because
unfortunately, that's probably going to be spent on my wife.
Well,
she said she needs a new wardrobe for work.
There you go. Just take it there. So, all right. We're going to talk baseball later in the show. Coach Justin Parker, kind enough to join us, and Robbie and I will talk some pitching because I feel like we put so much emphasis on the lineup. We got to talk some pitching as we are now 3 weeks away, 2 weeks, 3 weeks away from opening day. But
I'm so excited. I started my little series.
I saw that.
Mississippi State's roster.
Yeah.
It feels so good to talk about baseball.
Going
to talk
position
about
by position.
Something. Yeah. We're talking about something that has a little bit of hope right now.
I need something. I'm still laughing
something
about the
to
guy.
hold on to.
I'm still laughing about the guy after the Ole Miss game who went over and screamed at Duty Noble Field. I laugh about that. I laughed really hard at that. If you're that guy, you made me laugh. I appreciate you. Although I'm laughing at your pain, but it's my pain too. So it's not,
You're laughing with him.
I'm laughing with him.
Crying.
Whatever you want to say. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to try to have a little fun. It's with the 4 days since the 2025 college football season came to an end. We got 7.5 months before we got college football again. So why not go ahead and do a way too early prediction for Mississippi State? Let's look at this 2026 schedule. let's just take what we know about Mississippi State. Hey, Jordan Seaton could commit at any moment, and that might change some of our predictions. But if it does, it does. Let's just go through it, Robbie. And 12 games, 9 SEC games for the first time in history. Only the 3 non-conference games. Where do we have the Bulldogs? Let's figure this out. All right. So obviously, I think we'll both start 1-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
ULM. They'll win that game. Get 2026 off to a great start. No problem. And then it's just directly into the frying pan. A trip to Minnesota, first time ever. I believe it's the first time ever. I could be wrong. At Minnesota. I was thinking about going to that game, but then all this stuff started happening up there, and I'm like, maybe I personally, you could go, Robbie. You'll be okay. Maybe I shouldn't go.
You think you'd be in trouble? Huh?
I just think that there's a lot of people on the ground that might look at me and go, hey. So, more on Richard Cross in the morning for that.
What's your last name again?
Yeah,
sir?
I just don't want to deal with that. I don't want to, papers, please. I don't want to deal with that. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that. But we'll worry about that when we get there. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, that when you break it down in terms of the coaching matchup and the home field advantage, Minnesota is probably going to be favored in this game.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a game that when I tell you the games that State's going to win outside of ULM and Tennessee Tech, my thought process is almost exclusively, can Kamario Taylor do enough to win this game? I think defensively they'll be better, but it's going to be, can they put enough points on the board with Kamario to do that? That strikes me as one where they can. I don't think Minnesota's that great defensively. Be a really, if State's 2-0, there's going to be some excitement there. I'm going to, as we sit here today, I'm going to put this in the W column for the Bulldogs.
Okay. Now, this past year, they were 7-0 at home, Minnesota. And they won 8 games. They did not win a single game on the road. They won their bowl game. But at the same time, and I don't think this is like a world-beating Minnesota team.
Right.
Will State have the kinks worked out enough after one game?
Yeah.
These are going to be comparable rosters in a lot of ways. They both had around 30 team recruiting rankings. I'm going to say Minnesota wins.
Oh, see,
that's just where I am right now, just because they've been really good at home.
Yeah.
I don't know if State's going to be there yet defensively, getting everybody going, and then there's still some question with the offensive side of the ball, especially on the offensive line. I'm just not ready yet.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Everybody's like, hey, Dad, you're so negative. Look at this guy.
I'm trying to be realistic, man. Like I'm like,
you're crashing out.
Why would I, at this point, believe that Mississippi State's going to go to a power conference school and win a road game against a solid program? PJ Fleck has done really good things at Minnesota. He's a good coach. State beat Arkansas on the road, who was without their head coach. They were kind of as bad as State was. That's the only power team they've beaten on the road under Jeff Levy. So why should I have confidence that they're going to go on the road and win that game?
All right. I mean, I understand.
I'm sure that'll invoke another thread. I will delete the next one.
It's fine.
I'm going to delete the next thread. I'm not going to deal with it anymore. Yeah.
Hey, man, I don't mind those threads because it means people are listening. That's
well,
fine.
The guy that does it, he does it for interaction.
Well, yeah.
I'm playing into it a little bit. I'm just going to start ignoring it, I think.
Yeah. All right. Game 3. On the road again. Back-to-back road games for Mississippi State. Conference opener at South Carolina. Now, if all goes according to plan, Robbie Faulk and I will be in Oxford, Mississippi that day. That's the plan.
I'm sure some people will get upset about that, but I'm not going to Columbia. I can't make it to Columbia.
Get upset, all right? I want to be there when the hate is ripe. I want to be there.
We have no affiliation to either one of those teams. We can just watch it all unfold and crumble.
Robbie,
as much as it can.
We are pro wrestling guys. I want to see real heat. That's what I want to see. I want to see just Shawn Michaels in Canada heat. I want to see it. But that being
I want to see Lane Kiffin coming in with a Confederate flag, sticking it up his nose.
It starts humping it on the 50-yard line. He he starts singing the Ole Miss alma mater or something. Me, 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 me. Oh my God. All things are on the table. That said, Mississippi State at South Carolina. Now, this is where I'm going to go back to what you were just saying. On the road, Sellers is a bit of an enigma, but he's a good player. And right now with Mississippi State, with the way they're in the portal, I don't know that they have the pass rush to bother him as
And
much as they would
Sellers
like.
is in Kendall Briles' offense. I think he's going to
Should
be
be a
able to
stud.
utilize him well.
So I'm going to take State to lose here. I think State falls to South Carolina.
I think that I think they're going to lose this one as well. South Carolina's going to be a talented team.
Mm-hmm.
Shane Beamer's coaching for his job. They have some talent. They did a pretty good job in recruiting. The transfer portal, they added some pieces on the staff. This is Beamer's last stand. So that's a very tough place to win too. I don't have faith in State going up there. So I have more faith in them beating Minnesota though.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, week 4, back at home against the Missouri Tigers. I'll just go ahead and tell you, if State doesn't win this game, it's going to be a tough year to get SEC wins and start. Might be another year of no SEC wins and start. We'll see. I'm not big on Austin Simmons. And a year ago, I was huge on Austin Simmons. But now that I've seen him play, I'm just like, I don't know, man. If he gives the ball away, and Arnett's defense always forces turnovers, I'm going win. I'm going dub here.
I'll raise this point with Borky before the season started. When I was on Super Talk, before the season we were talking about Ole Miss and he was talking about Austin Simmons, and I asked him like, if he had not had that drive against Georgia, are we talking about Austin Simmons
correct
the way that we are?
Yeah, I bought into that, and
he basically said no. And I think a lot of Ole Miss fans probably would have said that. It would have been a giant unknown for them, but that drive gave a lot of people hope. It was just one drive. And when the keys got turned over to him, he struggled a little bit. If this team didn't have Trinidad Chambliss last year, that might have been a little more of a struggle for Ole Miss. So I'm still kind of skeptical on that as well. This one being at home, I think State can get on the winning track here. Now, they've lost, the last 2 to Missouri, and neither one have been particularly close, but there were opportunities early in those ball games for Mississippi State to take over, and they didn't. I think they'll have the defense this year to be able to stabilize and sustain a little bit more, and hopefully the offense comes along too. For the sake of this, not trying to be too negative, I think they can get this game.
All right. If I'll go ahead and tell you, if you had predicted a loss here, I was going to ask, okay, so they firing him after the Alabama game? Because at 1-4,
if I predict a loss right there,
they'd be 1-4 probably.
The next win, there's a possibility that could be against Tennessee Tech.
You're correct. Yeah, exactly.
And you could be looking at another 2-win season.
Yeah. All right. So W there. I've got them 3-1. I'm rolling here. I'm going to say this. The next week with Alabama, that's the most winnable game against Alabama Mississippi State has played since Dan Mullen left.
Yeah.
They have
a chance at quarterback.
I mean, if I get to say left tackle Javen James and State can run at Kendrick Beanley Jones, I'm going to feel pretty good about State's chances. I'm going to take Alabama to win as we sit here today, but that is as winnable as it's ever been against the Crimson Tide.
Still a lot of talent on that team, but they have more chinks in the armor than they've had since Mike Shula.
Oh, for sure.
This is, probably year 1 Saban, but we kind of saw the trajectory even after that year. Things were going to get better.
Yeah.
But this is a very beatable Alabama team, and it has been for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of faith in Kalen DeBoer being the guy long term there. And him, he could get fired with 9 wins like that.
Yeah.
That he could be a
if they lost this game, he would be hot seat the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Almost done.
And then you're talking about through 2 years, probably has a 65%, 70% winning percentage and gets fired.
I texted Brett Hudson, friend of the show, of course, and a big Alabama guy. I just asked when the Javen James thing happened, I was like, what are y'all doing? He's like, oh, we need linemen, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we're just trying to find guys who can play. I was like, well, you didn't. You didn't find one.
Yeah,
And
they were really excited about that pickup, and
he was just like, oh, dang. And I just sent him, I sent him a text. I said, Alabama head coach Eli Drinkwitz sounds great. And
oh my gosh, they would eat
he
him
was like, I'll come
alive.
to I'll come to your house. And so I said, I put Chat GPT to work. And let me see if I can pull it up here.
You got the
Uh,
picture of him.
no, I did something. I was like, oh, would you prefer defense? And I sent him, see if I can maybe pull it up here.
Zach Arnett.
You see it? It's Manny Diaz.
Oh gosh.
He just like, is that Manny Diaz? I haven't talked smack to an Alabama fan in a long time. That was fun.
All that said, I'm predicting a loss here,
Me too.
but I seriously, it would not shock me if State found a way, or
Yeah.
they were. I think they could be in this game for sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the situation is going to be for their quarterback. They're going to be replacing running backs, wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
The defense doesn't look like it used to.
You're not going into
winnable.
this game like you have in the past with Alabama saying no chance. We'll just say that.
Correct.
Right. So I've say 3-2. You've got them 2-3. Bye week at LSU. Now, first off, State has a chance to do the funniest thing ever. All right. If especially if he beats Ole Miss, if State could beat LSU, that I would skip to work on Monday if that happened. I
That would
don't
be
think
hilarious.
State goes into Tiger Stadium and wins that game as we sit here right now. I would say that's probably a loss. But, I'll just say this. Obviously home field goes to the Tigers. Coaching, Kiffin over Levy, no problem. But Taylor over Levitt is my thought process there. I think Camario is. I am not a big Sam Levitt guy.
I'm not either. But what I'll say is, whatever voodoo Lane Kiffin has on quarterbacks, he always has a QB.
It'll work,
and it always works out.
He'll be good.
I think he'll elevate Sam Levitt's game.
Probably.
How far that goes, I don't know. But if this was LSU's team this year, then I would say that State would win this game.
Yeah, 100%.
But they've added so much transfer portal talent.
Totally different.
And he's been so good at getting those guys to all hit for the most part.
Right.
I just can't. So, yeah, I'm going LSU.
All right, there you go. Back at home against Oklahoma. I mean, if they've got Mateer and they didn't make any changes offensively, there's a possibility that you could get the win here. I would think Oklahoma would be favored as we sit here right now. They're still going to be really good defensively. This could be a low-scoring game. I can't pull the trigger on picking an upset here, but this is a winnable game. This is a game where State doesn't come in and say you can't win.
Yeah. I don't know if I can pull the trigger, but I could see them winning this game. I'll say they win it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a more winnable game than the Texas game was last year.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And State was up 17 in that game. I think they can win this game.
Okay. So
I'm sitting here at 3 wins.
We're both 3-3.
Okay.
We're both 3-3. We're going to be 3-4. Neither one of us are going to pick a win at Texas.
Yeah.
All right. Vandy, no Pavia. Jarrett Curtis is probably going to be the starting quarterback. Now, he's a true freshman, but now we're talking about what? When is this game played? November 7th. So he's played 2 months as their starter. Come on. I can't. This is one of those mental things. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I think State wins this game.
I think they win too. I think this will be a step back season for Vandy. I think that they can sustain. I think they can sustain some success, and they can be a team that's consistently fighting for bowls and things like that. But Pavia being gone, I think, is going to be a huge hit. That's from a locker room standpoint.
Yeah,
that's like taking Dak Prescott out.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a bit of a step back for them. You look what happened with State, 2015 to 2016. I think this will be a season like that. They'll be fighting for bowl eligibility.
Yeah.
State should win this game.
Agreed. And then I think they can beat Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can beat Auburn. I think that's a potential win. So that's 5, and I've got them 5-4 at this
Same
point.
for me.
All right. They'll beat Tennessee Tech.
We got them bowl eligible.
Got them bowl eligible, 6-4. Or, no, I'm sorry, hold
Six
on,
and 6 and 5.
6-5. So okay, yeah, 6-5. Listen, I would love nothing more than for State to go into Oxford and get the win there. But as it trends right now, Chambliss and Lacey, those guys are back. Franklin, Eccles, Perkins back on TV. Ole Miss going to be favored in this game. Right now, Ole Miss will be favored in this game.
Yeah.
Now,
probably, touchdown plus.
probably a 5 to 6 point favorite. Yeah. I mean, 3 straight Egg Bowl losses is tough, but that's where I think this is a 6-6 football team.
Yeah.
Now,
it would be 4 straight Egg Bowl losses.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I was just thinking in terms of Levy's starting his career.
Yeah. It's just I think that Ole Miss is going to take a step back too, but it might not be a huge step back this year.
Yeah, next year
when this cycle runs out,
right.
You lose Trinidad Chambliss, you lose Lacey, you lose probably those guys on the defensive line, Sumter and Perkins. That's going to be a big rebuild for them.
Yeah, 27's the year where you can get Ole Miss. Now, go back to what we talked about yesterday. Good enough?
I think he'll probably keep his job at that.
That's disappointing.
It is, but he'll have the ability to sell. Look at my young guys I got coming up on the offensive line, defense. It's not going to excite a lot of people, but I think if he gets to bowl eligibility in the middle of the season, at that point he would have won. My prediction says he would have won 3 SEC games.
Yeah, he'd be 3-6 in the SEC.
That's another step up technically.
Nope. Actually, I'm wrong. In your prediction, Robbie, he would be 4-5 because you had him losing to Minnesota.
That's right. I had him beting
4
Missouri.
Conference wins is pretty strong. I won't lie against that.
Missouri, Oklahoma, Vandy, and Auburn. Yeah,
I have them beating Missouri, Vandy, and Auburn. But also,
I think he keeps his job if that's a scenario.
Goes back to what I was saying yesterday. In Indiana, they can win a national championship in 2 years. Mississippi State can't get over 6 wins in 3. That's disappointing. Yeah. There's no getting around that. So, you know what's funny about that, Robbie, is I felt like I'm not trying to put on a character or anything, but like I felt like I was optimistic in that prediction. Like looking, I was like, okay, they can beat Minnesota, they can beat Vandy, they can beat Auburn, they can beat Missouri. I feel like I'm being optimistic. Like how on earth would you get to 9 wins? Like
8. Like how are you predicting 8 or 9 wins at this point?
If you say 9 wins, then you're saying, okay, they're going to beat Minnesota. I think this is the way you have to look at it. They're going to beat Minnesota, South Carolina, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Auburn, and Ole Miss, Tennessee Tech. And so that would be, is that 9? You win the 3 non-conference, and then you beat Carolina, Missouri, Oklahoma. No, not Oklahoma. Vandy, Auburn, and Ole Miss. That's 8. So you had to beat Oklahoma to beat 9. Come on.
And that's what I don't get. Like people call us talking heads, and we're too negative.
Like look at the schedule.
Just use your brain.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we supposed to do? Sit here and predict 10 wins for Mississippi State and just be complete morons? Like
it's the same thing as last year, Robbie. It's like they can be better, and the record's not much better.
Yes, I mean it's okay to say that State's just not in the position to win those games.
Yeah.
It's being realistic. It's not being negative. It's looking at it from a realistic standpoint and saying, hey, could they actually win these games? And under most cases, they could not win the games that we're saying they're going to lose.
Yeah.
It's just realistic. And we've seen it the last 2 years. They won 2 games in year 1. He won 5 this year. He lost ball games that they very easily could have won that I feel like we could have said like we're kind of toss-ups.
Yeah.
There aren't many toss-ups here.
Yeah.
Is
what it is. I was hoping that when we finished up, I was not sitting at 6-6, but I am. And that is disappointing, especially considering what we just talked about yesterday. All right, let's move into baseball. That's brought to you by our friends over at Two Brothers Smoke Meats and the Older Brother here in Starkville. 2 fantastic places to go eat lunch and or dinner. And I say and or. You can do both, right? You can go to Two Brothers twice, you can go to the Older Brother twice, or you can split it up. Do what you want to do. But if you're in the Cotton District, you need to be eating at one of those 2 places. They're the best in town. If you want to have a great meal today, I can make it really easy for you. Head over to Two Brothers Smoke Meats or the Older Brother. Great products, great service. Every business likes to promise it to you. They deliver it to you at Advantage Business Systems. They've been doing it for over 50 years.
Thank you, brother.
If you need technology for your business, give Advantage Business Systems a call. And then if you need service, guess what? Same people, same phone number. They know you, you know them. They make it super easy. And because they're in Mississippi just like you, they can fix your problems a lot of times the exact same day. Call them at 601-362-9192 or visit them online at absms.com. Find out how Advantage Business Systems will help your business do business. Maroon & Co. Maroon & Co. is the place to go. I'm going to go this weekend if I'm not totally iced in, and you should be going as well. Of course, you can always shop online at maroonandco.com. But with baseball season coming up, it's time to get the M over S gear going. Whatever you need to wear to the game, whatever you need to go out and tailgate if you're in the lounge, whatever it is, Mississippi State baseball, maroon and white, they've got it at Maroon & Co. And as I say all the time, their selection beats everybody else. Everybody else has got the same kind of cookie cutter approach, same 10 shirts on the rack, not at Maroon & Co. They've got stuff you cannot find anywhere else. Use our promo code Thunder15 to save 15% off. Some exclusions apply. Next time you're in Starkville, make sure you're going to Maroon & Co. If your New Year's resolution was to keep your yard looking its absolute best, well then Happy New Year from Scruggs Farm Lawn and Garden. Let's get you up there and get some John Deere green. How about 0% financing for 84 months on the John Deere 5E tractor? About 0% for 72 months on all compacts. And if you're looking for a new ride for out there on the trails, you can grab the John Deere Gator at 0.9% for 36 months. I can't do all the math. They're 0.9. I can't. That's too much. Whatever it is you're looking for, John Deere green, and whatever it is you're looking for, period, they have it at Scruggs. They have what you want for less at Scruggs Farm Lawn and Garden in South Tillow. Good Hope Land and Timber. If you are looking to buy or sell land right now, the folks at Good Hope Land and Timber are here to help. If you already are a landowner and you're thinking, what do I need to do here? How can I keep my land at its absolute best? Again, Good Hope Land and Timber is here to help to make you sustainable, smart, and profitable decisions regarding your land. Whatever it is you're trying to do with your land, or if you're just trying to buy or sell that land for your new dream home, you can get it in touch with our friends at Good Hope Land and Timber, and they can get you taken care of. That's why they're locally trusted and landowner approved. Good Hope Land and Timber. All right. Earlier today, I talked to Mississippi State pitching coach Justin Parker. Good conversation with him about this staff. A lot of potential on this staff, not as much on the production side. I'm interested to hear his thoughts on it, and I'm sure you are as well. So let's get to that interview. As you know, all interviews here on Thunder and Lightning are brought to you by Allura Modern Wellness. If your New Year's resolution was to get into shape, well, it's not just about hitting the gym. It's about recovery. The only way to get yourself feeling better all the way is to take care of yourself after you work out. So when you hit the gym, you need to talk to our friends at Allura Modern Wellness about getting some recovery plan in place for you. A lot of different services available to you. You can check out their website at alluramodernwellness.com, and you can book everything right there as well. Heat, cold, stretching, they've got it all at Allura Modern Wellness. Allura Modern Wellness brings you this interview with Mississippi State pitching coach Justin Parker. Pleased to welcome back to the podcast Coach Justin Parker, Mississippi State baseball pitching coach. And Coach, good to have you back on with us. You know, Chris Lemonis was a hitting coach by trade. Brian O'Connor is a pitching coach by trade. So you're here with him. What's that relationship like when you're working with the head coach, who is also by nature a pitching coach?
Man, it's been awesome so far. You know, just really good foresight for balance. You know, I feel like, you know, and I think the construction of most staffs certainly that I've ever been a part of, it's weighted a little different, you know, where it's more heavily on the offensive side. You have the hitting guys, you have the defensive guys, and then, you know, on the pitching side, you're over here on an island a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the foresight to understand balance and how to integrate, you know, both groups and share the field on field time, you know, with picks and PFPs and things like that. It's really been awesome. I mean, it's you know, he's as impressive as you know, as everybody has said, and of course now just working with him for a short period of time, it's really easy to see.
So you use that word balance. You look back a season ago when you talk about left-handed arms. After Pico, you didn't really have a lot of guys you could rely on there. Do you feel like you have more balance in this staff between righty and lefty?
Yeah, and I love this group. It's a it's a young group. It's a little bit inexperienced, but that also is the exciting part. And some of the left-handers, I guess probably all of them, are either freshmen or sophomores,
Mhm.
unless I'm missing somebody. But that part makes it really really exciting, and just gives you flexibility. This is a league that that'll exploit your weaknesses, and there's going to be weekends you probably are fairly right-handed out of your pen. There's going to be a ton of weekends where those lefties are getting a ton of runs. So it just gives us options, and that group has developed and are working hard, and I like where they're at.
We're obviously projecting, but when you look at the lineup for Mississippi State, I mean, there's a lot of pop in that lineup, and it should be one of the best offenses in college baseball. When you have an offense like that and you know, okay, week in, week out, we're going to put up runs, does that change the way you coach and the way you handle the bullpen and things like that?
Honestly, not really. It's nice to have, it's nice to feel like that, but the urgency to come out and attack and set the tone, whether it be in the first inning, of any game or on Friday night of a series, like it doesn't change the fact that our identity still is the tone setter. Because whether or not we're scoring runs and we're hitting, or it takes a little longer. Like sometimes those nerves take a while to settle in, and it's the advantage to the pitcher on both sides early especially in this league. So the mentality for us is no different. It is nice to know that we have combinations, we have experience, we have age, we have guys that have seen the fight. I think that's the hardest thing to predict and project. On paper, it looks one way, but having guys, a handful of guys that have been through the league, know what it's like night in and night out, know the competition at home, know what it's like on the road, the environments, know the strike zones, know the umpires, know what it's like to go at times 1 for 7 or 2 for 12, and still be able to play winning baseball in other areas. Like those things are hard to find on a stat sheet or a box score, or certainly as we're scouting things, potentially even in the portal. Like those are the hardest things, and we have a group of guys that have been through that. So not only do you feel like they're a little bit more prepared, but I think they can share in their experiences with a lot of the other guys in the younger group too.
When you look ahead to like opening weekend, and again, this is something that because I'm in the media, I'm going to project these kind of things. But you look at that team and that you're playing Hofstra, and you think, okay, they should have an opportunity to play a lot of guys, and so you get, you can throw guys out there in different roles. How quickly do you feel like you have a handle on what your guys' roles to be? How quickly into the season do you think, okay, these are my weekend guys, this is my bullpen guys, here's my midweek guys? How quickly does that come for you?
Man, I think it's just independent of the group. I think it's independent of the group. And, when you look at the schedule, the way it is now in the SEC, playing the Thursday night slates, playing the Easter weekend, you have the ability to make decisions, whether you want to hold true, keep the same order, or, potentially even give a guy a blow and start your fourth starter on Thursday. So like, I'm really excited about the depth and the youth and the talent of this pitching staff. But I think also with that comes probably just protecting guys at times and making sure there's not too much on their plate, especially right out of the chute. From a volume standpoint, a little bit, to make sure we're at our best down the stretch, but a little bit, too competitively, just making sure that they're put in the spots to be able to have success, grow confidence, and then just be able to graduate roles, at the appropriate time. I'm a firm believer, and I think this holds true individually too. All these kids, they come to Mississippi State because they want to do two things. They want to win a national championship collectively, and they want to put themselves individually in the best position to play at the next level and become a major leaguer. Okay. And to do that, if you reverse engineer the process to do that, you have to be a guy that, come May, but on the back half of April and May, you're pitching at your best, both in front of the scouting community, but also just when you think about our group and what our goals are as a team, both of those things align to put our guys in the best position to do that. Not to say that opening weekend is not important or the preseason is not important, but you're trying to trend as a group to be at your best when it matters the most. And so all those things in mind, just putting guys in the right spots. I think we are versatile. I love like a lot of the personalities. I think this goes unnoticed a lot of times. We have a lot of selfless personalities where, I've been coached staffs where everyone's a starter. And in this group, man, I got guys like Ben Davis and Tyler Pitzer and Brennan Sweeney and some of the older guys that have been through it a little bit, and can certainly start and may start, but they say, Coach, I want the ball. Give me the ball when the game's on the line, and I want it a couple times a week. And whatever you choose to do and whatever you guys do as a staff, I'm all in. So that part's refreshing and makes it fun to coach.
Let's talk about some of the individual guys, and we'll start with Tomas Valinkas. What's the scouting report on this guy? Can he be a Friday night guy? Can he be the guy that you put out there on Friday and say, beat him if you can?
Well, I think Friday night and when you think about roles, for me, Friday night and closer is just as much about competitive makeup as it is about stuff in arsenal. Mm-hmm. So he certainly checks that box. First and foremost, elite competitor. He's pitched and held up on the weekends at the Power 4 level, so you have a little bit of experience there. It helps that he's left-handed. He can handle the run game and the short game. He's probably one of our most versatile guys in just being able to play team defense. I know that's probably something that not a lot of people necessarily think about first when they think about what makes an elite pitcher, but it's certainly a part of it. He's elite in the run game. And he's really, really good in the short game and the bunt game. So I think he definitely has all the ingredients to compete for that.
Let's talk about the guys then who came back for you this year. McPherson, Stone, Foster, Davis. Are they ready to take that jump and be basically the foundation of this pitching staff?
Man, I love what I've seen so far. You never really know until you see it out there, but everything, going back to what they did in the summer, how they trained, how they came together as a group, what they look like in the fall, how they went about their off season, how early they came back and started to train together, how close they are as a group. Like it really looks like they are. So I'm excited. Several of them, Duke Stone, Charlie Foster, all of them, but those two specifically look like different guys. Different guys physically, different guys from a confidence level. They're more prepared. They've gone through a little bit of hardship, which I think helps if you can afford to. You're always trying to win the game tonight, but sometimes like guys individually have to go through some hardship to kind of figure it out. Both of them are kind of, to me, on the other side of that, and they've looked terrific so far.
You mentioned this guy a second ago, but Tyler Pitzer coming over from South Carolina. You would have worked with him there previously. He had an unbelievable summer up there in the Cape. Did he carry all of that momentum into the fall practice and now into the preseason? Is he ready to play a big role?
Yeah, I think that and then some. I think he's been – so I recruited Tyler originally when I was still at Indiana, and then carried that relationship over and signed him at South Carolina. I never coached him at South Carolina, but knowing the makeup, knowing the family, knowing the kid, and then having – a pretty good pipeline still, knowing what's going on over there in Columbia helped make that decision because, his spring was a little bit spotty. And then, we of course signed him. He actually committed without even visiting. He had been here, played here as an opponent and seen everything he needed to see. But, he came in, carried that momentum. We saw enough. We cut him a little bit short in the fall, and then he's come back from break. He's up 5 or 10 pounds. He looks great. He's strong. He's continuing to sharpen his arsenal a little bit. It's a little different and not taking and discrediting anything from the Cape. Of course, it was like an incredible summer for him. But when you just look at not really necessarily prepared offenses, wood bats, slightly bigger strike zones. It's a little bit taller task here, now for him, but he's familiar with it. He knows what it's like. And I think more than anything, that I guess just the theme of this staff has kind of been familiarity. Like even a lot of the guys, Pitzer, of course, we're talking about. I've known him for a long time, and he's been familiar with me. So adapting and getting acclimated to what we do has been easy for him. Brennan Sweeney has pitched here. He knows what Duty Noble Field is all about, and he pitched here and he did well. He knows what the league's about. Having Tomas Valinkas and William Kirk come over, from UVA, of course, like very familiar with the coaching staff and Coach O'Connor. So you have a lot of guys maybe that look on paper like new or inexperienced group, but there's still a lot of familiarity. We also return a lot, even though, maybe the group of the guys that are sophomores now that are freshmen last year, maybe you look at the group and say, well, there's not a ton of innings in that group, but there are a lot of guys in that group that were here last year that are still here this year. And I think in this day and age in college baseball, that's incredibly rare to have. If you do count William Kirk and Tomas Valinkis, who are playing for the same coach that they played for last year, plus, we have Duke Stone, Charlie Foster, Ryan McPherson. I'm going to miss a couple guys, but we have Dane Burns, we have Braden Booth, we have Jack Gleason. All of those guys are now in their second year in the same system, where I've seen a lot of the jumps, and hopefully, we'll all get to see it this spring.
Does Noah Sullivan still have a role to play with you as a pitcher?
He's working out right now. He pitched on Monday. We're getting the volume up. We've prioritized the offensive side and the defensive side in the fall, just to kind of take that off his plate. He's such a professional as far as just like how he prepares and who he is and what he does on the mound. We're getting the volume up to make sure that he's ready to do it. I think it's still a little early to say if he does and what that would look like.
I was here, covering this team when JT Ginn came in as a freshman, and obviously a lot of hype around him. He was a first-round pick. I don't know, though, if the hype isn't greater around Jack Bauer. I mean, a left-hander throwing 100 is not something that normally shows up on a college campus. He's normally off to the minors at that point. What kind of role can he play for you in year one?
It's hard to say. He's one of the guys where, we're talking about bite-sized pieces at a time and letting that confidence grow. And the more he's capable of handling, the more he'll get. And we may show up in a month and he's ready to like really, really roll. But right now, our focus is just on getting better today, getting his volume up. It's a guy, where, and I'm from the Midwest. We've had a lot of success with Midwest arms, but like you have to understand that there is a level of just inexperience with those guys in general. Like he hasn't pitched a lot, even in his high school season. A guy that is that decorated, he wasn't out there going 6 or 7 innings a night all spring or all summer. So you still have to be careful from a workload standpoint. You still have to be careful, just overexposing him to certain things. And like every freshman, there are things that in his arsenal he's going to have to change or adjust to be at his best at this level. So he's working through all those things right now. I've been unbelievably impressed with how quick of a learner he is. And he's come a long way since he's gotten here. And that's not to discredit, who he was when he got here and say like, hey, you have a 100-mile-an-hour lefty that, everybody thinks is, again, the next JT, Ginn. But no, he was good when he got here, but just the refinement of all the things that he's done since he's been here in all the areas, the mental side, the run game, the short game, diversifying his arsenal, adding layers to his arsenal, throwing the secondary pitches for strikes, all those things continue to grow every week. So it's exciting to see what he can become, and again, it could happen next month. It may take a little time, but it's an incredibly impressive kid and exciting.
You got me curious. What is it about the Midwest that turns out good pitchers?
I think a lot of times those kids get stuck, whether they like it or not, playing multiple sports. So the ability, or you just have to compete on the hardwood. You have to compete, on the football field, to where I'm nose to nose with somebody and he wins or I win. In baseball, sometimes like the guy that just plays baseball and I'm a baseball player only, or I'm a pitcher only forever. You can kind of hide, you can kind of duck. Especially at the summer circuit now, these pitchers, oftentimes their junior and senior years in the summer, they go out, they show up, they throw 2 innings as hard as they can. Nobody knows who they are, really. They don't have a scouting report. They light it up. They get on a plane. They go home. Like you don't really have to go through it. A lot of times the kids from the Midwest, like I got to play basketball, or I'm a basketball player, I'm a wrestler, or I also play football. And so you have a lot of meat still left on the bone from a development standpoint because they haven't been overexposed to things. But at the same time, I think you get a little bit different competitor. So, again, each kid's individually, some of them are Cal Steven was one of the, Cal Steven is just that, the high school quarterback, played basketball, good baseball player, but his best was yet to come. He was maybe the best competitor I've ever coached. So, we're lucky and fortunate to have, the resources we have here to where kids from the Midwest that are in that category love to play here.
All right, we'll wrap it up with this. You see all of these guys every day. Who's somebody that people like me aren't talking about that you think we will be talking about when the season starts?
I mean, William Kirk is a guy that I think's been very impressive. I think when you look at, one, he's left-handed, he's got 4 pitches. He's he's a guy that was in the mix to start at Virginia last year before hurting the knee. I think he's been outstanding all fall, all spring. He's a big piece. It's the hardest thing is going to be where do they fit, and who's ready to do what and where do they fit together, and that's our job. Obviously, you're fighting that every year. But William Kirk is a guy on the outside looking in right now of that rotation that, man, we could look up in a week where it's, he's supplanted himself and it's a real guy. So he's been awesome. I love the young crew. Maddox Miller has as good of a changeup as a freshman as I've ever coached, and Parker Rhodes. Those two guys are really, really foaming at the mouth to kind of get out there and do it. So it's the youth, I think, is the exciting part. And so some of those guys that are young, I think they'll surprise some people.
Can't wait to be at Dudy Noble Field for opening weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Coach Parker, appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming on with me.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you.
So this reminds me a little bit of coming into 2021, right? So because in 2020 you had JT Ginn at the front of the rotation. Now he ends up getting injured, but you had a proven guy there. And in 2021 we had seen enough of the shortened 2020 season that we kind of knew what McLeod and Bednar were going to be able to give. You were hoping Sarantola could turn into a monster. He never did, obviously. You knew the depth that you had in the bullpen, obviously. But nobody was just like, for sure, Ethan Small, Dakota Hudson kind of ace at the beginning. Who is that guy going to be for Mississippi State this year? Who is going to be that Friday night, throw him out there, you expect to win guy?
I think it's going to be Tomas Valinkas.
Okay.
He had a freshman year last year in the Power Four, like supposed to be the year for you as a relative frontline starter, where you kind of have your lumps. I mean, you think about. I always talk about Chris Stratton, like his freshman year at State, like he got thrown into the fire by Butch Thompson, and it was not pretty a lot of times, but he learned and he was better for it. This guy was super solid as one of the frontline starters for Virginia as a true freshman. He was 5-1 with a 4.59 earned run average. That'll play, and that's the ACC is not quite as deep and prestigious as the SEC, but it's the closest thing I think to the SEC.
It's a really good conference, yeah.
And if you see how it's set up, like the way that the power that they have offensively in a lot of ways, they have some power arms. It is a lot like the SEC. So he did this inside the ACC, 64 2/3 innings. His walks were really good, 17 walks and 64 2/3 innings. That'll play on this level. If you're a true freshman and you're going out there and you're pounding the strike zone like that, and you don't have like a comparable walk to strikeout ratio, that's pretty good. 70 strikeouts to 17 walks. That is a very good stat line if you're Tomas Valinkas. So I think that he is going to be the guy. He's a high 90s fastball from the left side. It's premium stuff from that left side that I think if you look at his body type too, he's kind of built to sustain, I think. So that to me is probably your guy on Friday night, if I had to guess. To me, this kind of feels a lot like 2 years ago, where you had a lot of options, but you weren't really sure where everybody was going to fit. I think that that's the case this year too. Like you're going into it, you're not really sure who all your starters are going to be. You're probably going to be trying it out a little bit, but you have a lot of options. You had a couple of years ago, you had Cal Steven, you had Drangelo Sangea, you had Nate Dome, guys like that really kind of formed into a really tight starting rotation, and then some guys in the bullpen. This feels a lot like that for Justin Parker. He has a lot of tools in the toolbox to work with. It's just about fitting everybody where they need to be, and added some guys in the transfer portal that can help there as well.
So I know you're doing the position by position, but give us a little spoiler. What do you think at least the week one rotation is?
I think that we will see probably Tomas Valinkis on Friday, maybe Ryan McPherson on Saturday. And then that Sunday spot is the interesting one. Is Duke Stone going to be a starting pitcher? Is Charlie Foster ready to step into that role on Sunday? Do you want left, right, left, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to to kind of change it up against the lineups you're going to be facing? Charlie Foster, I think, makes a lot of sense there. But Duke Stone, he had such a great offseason. That could be a guy that forms into a starter for you. They started putting him in that position in the Cape Cod, and he really flourished. He's got the ability to go out there, I think, and pitch deep into a ball game. And so that he could be a guy that steps into that role as well. So there's definitely some options for you. And I think the first couple of weeks, first 3 or 4 weeks, you'll see State tinker probably with some guys, and you'll see some guys start, eventually go to the bullpen. You'll see some guys in the bullpen eventually start.
Yeah.
What do you do on the midweek? I think they have more options this year than having to turn to Noah Sullivan.
I mean, if Duke Stone is your midweek guy, you should be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, and I think he could. I think he's going to help you in the weekend.
Yeah,
in some form or fashion. But there's a ton of options for him. A ton of really, really good arms. Charlie Foster, I think, is going to take a step forward this year. He's going to be fully healthy. Is William Kirk ready to step in and help you? That was a guy that was probably going to be in their rotation at Virginia last year, and he tore his ACL. He wasn't great in the fall, but that's a guy that's still kind of coming back from injury and trying to get comfortable. Parker Rhodes, you added him out of high school. That he took a huge step last season, after the season completed, and was pushing up draft boards. Can he help you this year? What does Jack Bauer do for you this year? There's so many different opportunities for players, and I think that's going to be battled out as the season goes on. When you get into SEC play, you'll probably start to see the rotation and the roles tighten up. But you're going to see a lot of arms that first weekend.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. They'll pitch a bunch of guys that weekend. All right, next week more baseball, more portal talk probably. Guess we'll do some basketball. They were not good Wednesday night as probably would have projected. A
lot of people wasted a lot of blood pressure.
Yeah,
in that game.
Just let it go.
Just let it go.
So
let the dove fly.
Exactly. I don't think I'll be at the hump Saturday, especially since I don't even know they're going to play that game if the weather is what they're saying it is. So
there's no way. There's no way.
We'll see. All right, guys. Talk to you again on Monday. For Robbie Faulk, I'm Brian. Just go ahead and let everybody know, by the way, real quick. There's a higher than 0% chance that Monday's show is me sitting at my kitchen table with the sound quality maybe not as good because I can't get to the studio. We'll see how that goes. So.
Well, and who knows if I'll have power?
You may not even have power, yeah. So we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen one way or the other, probably.
Talk to you then. For Robbie Faulk, I'm Brian Hadad. Thanks for listening to Thunder and Lightning here on SuperTalk, Mississippi.